TV. Ghana at 2020 political show. And then you be a question and answer session with the public. Ayo program has here. You yenya oho ifri Ghana. Mr. Prosper Pio Ari. We NDC Upper West Regional Communication Officer. Prosper, welcome.
Thank you so much.
We thank you for making time for us.
Yeah, I'm so grateful. I'm happy to be here.
And today we'll be discussing about the state of Ghana economy.
That's okay. That's great.
How was your trip coming?
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity given. I want to say blessed evening to your precious viewers out there. I must say that it has been beautiful. It was a very nice trip, enjoyable, and quite a good experience to be in London.
Have you been here before?
Well, this is my maiden coming, and I hope to come and come again.
Okay, well, very good. We will come to you again. Thank you. Kwaku, where do you? Yaseshia. It's here for Mr. Kwaku Bimpe. Bimpe, that's yes. Right. Kwaku Bimpe. Oye part of NPP communication team UK. Na Kwaku bana ojeni to say.
Yeah, okay, good. And so on talk about.
And then that traffic will grow.
And that traffic may have bad up to a certain point, and it turned out to be all right.
Thank you. Prosper, we will start with you today because we want to hear some things from Ghana.
That's okay.
Our audience want to know, because I have to maybe introduce you to the public or the Ghana community in terms of your position in Ghana. You are NDC Upper West Regional Communication Officer.
That's right.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about Upper West Regional, and your role in terms of NDC over the years?
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity once again. The Upper West region, until recently, the youngest region in Ghana. Recently we just created some new regions, so we don't longer hold that fort as the youngest region in Ghana. But it's a region that was created in 1983. It's a region that has gone through various stages of growth. It's a region that is made of beautiful people, different cultures, mixed cultures, Dagabes, Sesales, Wales, and the Lobbies, the Brifos, and other people who have traveled from other regions who are settled there and working over there. Now, politically, our region has been one that has been very faithful to the National Democratic Congress since its inception in 1992. And I think there are obvious reasons why. Because it is only the National Democratic Congress in the history of the Fourth Republic that has demonstrated, the willingness to develop the Upper West, that has demonstrated the goodwill towards the people of the Upper West region, that has demonstrated the willingness to propel the engine of development or growth in the Upper West region.
So, based on what you are saying, can you tell us why our audience and the Ghana community should vote for Mahama for 2020 and not for Nana Addo?
Well, I just don't think that we go for elections as a fanfare. There are obvious reasons that people go on elections. One, you would want to choose leaders that are responsible, leaders that are faithful to their own words, leaders that are committed to the cause of the development of the country, leaders that will create that serene environment whereby every citizen will be able to meet his or her own needs. Leaders that will create that environment that will make the citizens feel well secured financially, secured economically, and secured in terms of security. Now, it's a good thing that as at now, Ghana has experienced the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and we are experiencing the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, we all know at the heat of the 2016 election, we know the debates that were on the fort. We are now well convinced that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo won the election riding on the horse of public deception. Why do I say so? We are all aware of the mantra of Sikano Woho, yeti Sikaso Nenso Komdien. Moto abano mamia, mene ma aban yebeye adwuma ma Sikano aba ema obia nye biadi. Now I think if you ask the people of Ghana today, they will tell you where we have ended. We all know the mantra of Nana Akufo-Addo singing "One Village, One Dam," when in actual fact he did not even do any precursory research on the number of villages in the northern part of Ghana that they were going to construct dams. I tell you, my brother, I have just come from northern Ghana, and I all know the mantra of one constituency, $1 million per year. We're in the third year now, and I'm here to hear.
Are you saying that you have not seen any construction of a dam in any part in the northern region?
Well, I have said that I cannot point to any well-constructed pond.
Well,
not to even talk of a dam.
Okay.
Any well-constructed pond. You heard recently the minister in charge of special development who was lamenting that even her own expectations have not been met. Even if those who are within it have not had their expectations met, what of those of us in the periphery who are outside? So that thing is a failure, it's a fiasco. There is nothing good happening in that regard. We are just throwing the taxpayers' money out there, 250,000 Ghana cedis for what cannot be described as a proper pond. That is what is happening. And even with that, you cannot count more than 10 of them in each of the regions. I am coming from the Upper West region, and I can tell you that for fact. Now, we all know the issue of security. My brother, Ghanaians, even in our hardship, we desire nothing more than being able to sleep and secure ourselves. Sleep and be sure that we will wake up the next day without anyone bumping into our rooms. We should be sure that we'll be able to move along the streets of Ghana without having anyone who will come and hinder our movement or who will threaten our lives. That is not what we are experiencing today. You are aware that even the people within the Ghana Police Service who are supposed to secure our security, just last month, August, within the space of 30 days, 5 good police officers were gunned down in cold blood. That is what is happening in Ghana. You are aware that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, then candidate Akufo-Addo, promised every district a factory. I am here to see where the factories are. We are aware that he promised jobs. And you are aware that a report has come indicating that between 2017 to 2018, the end of 2018, 1 million Ghanaians lost their jobs in that period. As a result of bad governance, as a result of collapse of public institutions, as a result of bad economic policies. So these are some of the issues that, look, we just don't go to polls because we want to queue up and vote. We go to polls because we want to enhance our standards of living, want to better our living conditions. But if we have voted for Nana Akufo-Addo and we have realized that where we were, where President Mahama was taking us to, the stage that he has set, ready for a takeoff to mass development, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has taken us far 10 years behind that. So it is obvious that, look, the populace in Ghana have realized that indeed we have ransomed our fattened bull for a malnourished he-goat. President Akufo-Addo is simply a failure. President Akufo-Addo is substandard.
Considering the number of NPP achievements that they have mentioned and the thing that he's saying that they're doing,
well,
that is a failure.
My good brother is here. Perhaps unless he tells us what those achievements are. You see, it is not just about the issue of singing.
Said that they will give free SHS and they're doing it.
My brother, you are taking me to another course here. The Minister of Education, Honorable Napo himself, has admitted in documents that I hold here, which I can make available to you, that free secondary education is a process that was begun by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. What is happening now is only a continuation.
I think that it will be fair for the public to see that at some point.
Oh yes, I will make it available to you. And indeed, you see, when we talk of free SHS, the NDC is saying that, look, free SHS is good, but free quality SHS is better. The NDC is not just paying lip service. SHS is not just about government declaring that people should pick their trunks and chop boxes and go to school. Where do they go to live in? Do they go to sleep under trees? Do they go to learn under trees? Where is the infrastructure? What are the schools? Just last week, you see the mayhem that was caused at the Independence Square. You see what is happening in all the regional capitals in Ghana. that students that have written BECE and that have passed and that should duly be accorded the opportunity to enter senior high schools in Ghana, they are queuing with their parents and people are collapsing. And as if to add salt to injury, the education minister looks directly into the face of the taxpayer and tells us that those people were dramatizing. I mean, there is nothing more pejorative than that. There is nothing more insensitive than that. There is nothing more to show that, look, this government is not committed to the welfare and the well-being of the people of Ghana. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama demonstrated that, look, our numbers are growing. Our children need quality education. Our constitution guarantees that at a point we should give free quality secondary education to our children. And what do we need to do? We need to put in place the superstructure. We need to put in place the infrastructure. We need to ensure that these children are not made to go through any kind of education that will not bring the needed fruit, that will yield the fruits that we desire to build our economy. That is why we started with the policy of building community day schools. That is why not only community day schools, but existing senior high schools saw a monumental increase in the level of infrastructure. That is why His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in 2015-2016 started with free, the graduate free education for students who were at the day secondary school and scholarship for some who were boarders. And that is what the education minister himself has alluded to.
So in summary, for your reasons why the Ghana community at large or Ghana community should vote for NDC is?
Look, summarizing, it is this. Number one, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has failed. He promised to protect the public purse. He's not doing so. He promised to run an open, transparent government. He's not doing so. What we see is a family and friends and ex-concubines government. Look, he promised to ensure that every constituency gets $1 million a year to facilitate the development. He has not done so. He promised to provide dams for every village in northern Ghana. He has not done so. He promised to build factories for our people. He has not done so. He promised to regularize small-scale mining and ensure that our people are the beneficiaries of it. He has not done so. Rather, people in his government are colluding with foreigners, taking money from them, and then our people are being chased with guns. They are releasing these foreigners. You saw what His Excellency himself, when I said in the USA so a few days ago, this is disgusting, this is disgraceful. His Excellency has demonstrated that, look, he doesn't have that wherewithal to hold the position, that he's not ready for the presidency of Ghana.
We will come to you again. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Prosper.
I'm so grateful.
Kwaku,
Kula.
what you need now?
Yes, I have. And to be honest, let me take this opportunity to say a big thank you to all the MPP UK and MPP in the diaspora, and also a big thank you to Nanansa, my MPP communication director, and all the communicators who are listening and supporting tonight, and also all the MPP around the world who are watching us tonight. In fact, I'm a bit disappointed in the first instance because we were supposed to start at 6. I was here at 6. Prosper wasn't. And for someone who wants to be elected to government, to run a country, I think timing is important. So, judge me by what I say, but also forget my actions, pretty much. Now, there's one thing I would draw attention to, Kula. He did mention something, and I wouldn't tolerate abuse on this show, and I think you need to hold him on to that. And Prosper, how we doing here, we try to be civil in the conversation. So,
what happened?
So that you know.
Can you tell us?
He used the word malnourished goat to refer to the president when he was having a conversation. I think that's inappropriate, to be honest. We are going to have a matured and informative debate so that the viewers out there can make their minds up. He has not referred to anything, no evidence so far. He's just rattling.
Can I ask you something? Before this program, have you heard about Prosper?
I have heard about Prosper, yes. I know he's been one of the propaganda chiefs in the Upper West region.
Have you heard about Kwaku before?
Well, not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at
Well,
all.
Well, today you are here with.
He's a big man. I'm not as big as him.
It's great to be here with you.
He's a big man, and I'm glad to be here. But let's keep the debate mature and
okay.
devoid
Let
of
him
insults.
continue. Thank you.
He made quite a lot of, allegations, assertions, and it feels like, oh gosh, is this guy actually talking about Ghana? Is he talking about a current president? And it's surprising some of the things that he's saying, that he hasn't seen anything. Let me just remind him, I've got a response to everything that he said so far. Let me just remind him, this is an article that was published in 2010 from the Upper West NDC, his own Secretariat. This is published from his own secretariat. And the topics that says, well, assess government based on its achievement.
Yes.
So at the time, the NDC were urging Ghanaians to assess the then government, which is an NDC government, based on the achievement of the government. Now, if that was true then it has to be true now. So we know from where Prosper comes from, if we look at Prosper's region, for example, because pretty much the world is the Upper West region. And we know, according to all the socioeconomic indicators, it is one of the poorer areas. So if you look at things like, literacy, school completion, maternal mortality, the neonatal deaths, school completion rates, and even the rural-urban diversity or divergence, Upper West happens to be one of the poorest areas. And also in terms of even disability, I've got the statistics here to show from the census, the last census, if you cares to see it, and also pregnancy related. So it seems, and if I may quote just a little bit from the last census, so economy and living conditions, the majority of people in the Upper West region are peasant farmers. The average farm is 25 acres per farmer, and farming is mostly done on a family basis as a daily activity, except for rest days. Farming is both on subsistence and commercial basis. The population largely depends on rainfall to cultivate their guinea corn, maize, millet, soybeans, granules, cotton, yam, cocoa, and sorghum. And you can attest to that, Prosper. Cattle rearing is another agricultural activity which is undertaken in the region. Meanwhile, maize in the region, maize, guinea corn, granules are cultivated for domestic consumption. Right, let me just leave that there for a second. So we know a picture of the region that he's coming from, which is pretty much his world. It's not that great. Now, I will expect someone for that region to be able to see some of the developments that has come up. I also would like to point out, Kula, to an article that was written by the chiefs of his own area. Okay, the chiefs within the area of the Upper West region. The title is what? Upper West Chiefs commends President Akufo-Addo for the fight against corruption. Now, if you read the article, it goes on to say a whole lot of things that's going on within the region. So Prosper is in Ghana, but Prosper has refused to have a look and open his eyes and be open-minded about all the developments that are happening. And of course, you can't tell me that Prosper's view supersedes that of the chiefs and the traditional rulers within the area. Now, let me just quote a few bit so that we can see at least what the chiefs are saying, not just what Prosper is saying. Because Prosper has come now, just done a bit of propaganda without any evidence. So, according to the chief, which is Domana, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is it Somit Gori II?
Dorumona Sohimene.
Thank you.
Gori II.
Somit Gori II. Thank you for that, Prosper. It says that, we have begun the implementation of good policies you promised Ghanaians in your manifesto. You have started yielding results and for the good people of Ghana. He said the Wa district has been a beneficiary of 47,000 bags of fertilizer. Now, I've already quoted you what kind of farming, the economic activity that goes on in the area. So fertilizer is a gold mine in that area, okay, on government subsidy. This has made farmers expand their farms, acreages. Remember, every farm has, 25 acres. Now they're able to expand their acreages. This is coming from the chiefs. The free SHS has been a huge relief to us and parents, and grateful for the initiative. He continued to say that thank you to the government and express our gratitude, which is the people of the Upper West region, where he comes from. He expressed the gratitude of his huge office for seeing the water project. So that is also something that the chiefs are saying that His Excellency has done, which Prosper has refused to see. We understand that it's expected to supply millions of gallons of water daily. Now, if you know Upper West really well, there is a huge problem with water because they rely pretty much on the rainfall, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Prosper. Now, that is just one aspect of what the chiefs are saying in his region. Now, this one here was written by somebody called the writer and was published in the City News. Nadoli Kalio District, one village, one dam commences. That is one of the districts in his constituency. And you know, this powerful one village, one dam, it's a blessing to the people who need a constant supply of water for the area like where he comes from. I'm trying to restrict the conversation to his area because there's no point looking at the whole Ghana when he's come to throw such propaganda about his area into the debate. So again, they have handed in one district, one village, one dam, which has happened. This has been written about. Now, if I'm allowed to go on, Kula.
Prosper mentioned about ponds rather than dams.
Well, he chose to use the definition of ponds. The government's policy is to have dams and dugouts, and that has been the government policy. I knew there were initial stages, there were cases where the contractors hadn't finished some of the projects, and a lot of people went around taking pictures saying that it was a completed project, which is really not fair to the government. Again, this is 17th June 2019, quite recent. Work on One Village, One Dam at various stages of completion. And this is published in the General News from a guy called Mahmoud Fugu. I don't know if you're aware of him, you might. Now, according to that report, there are 43 are being constructed in Upper East and Upper West. 83 in Upper East, 43 in Upper West. So I'm surprised that, you know, people are writing about the good things they're seeing in his region, but he refuses to see it. Now, everyone listening and watching, you think, okay, is he blind or is he just playing sheer politics? Now, for this debate, Kula and Prosper, I would really like us to give people a choice to make a decision, and we need to present the facts. I'm not going to do propaganda here because I don't think it is the right platform for it. But this is a project that has happened. The Minister of Special Initiatives has actually gone on there to commission some of them. Yes, you're right, the cost of the dams is 250,000 Ghana cedis. So that is another flagship policy that the government has rolled out in his own region, in his backyard. And yesterday he sits here on this studio and he pretends he doesn't know what's going on, all because of politics. And that is not fair to his own people. This should be a fight for his own people. On another story, Kula, 3,997 farmers employed in WA and are planting for food and jobs. He tells me there are no jobs. He tells me people have not lost their jobs. In his own backyard, almost 4,000 people have been employed under the planting for food and jobs. And this is published by the Daily Graphic on the 4th of December 2017. And it goes on to detail how many people from each of the districts of his own region. So is he saying that all these publications are lying, or is he the one who is trying to throw dust into people's eyes? Now, people are a lot wiser now, and people are going to see through all that lies at the end of this debate. And I have more. There is one more that I have to say, and then I can respond. Yes. Upper West. This appeared in the Ghana News Agency on 27 January 2019, 7 o'clock in the morning. Upper West, 117,300 farmers joined planting for foods and jobs during 2018. So his own region, his own backyard, he refuses to acknowledge what's happening, but then looks at Accra and looks at somewhere else and pointing fingers saying that, oh, the government has done nothing. Now, I don't think people are watching actually believe what he's saying, because he has not presented not even a shred of evidence to support what he's saying.
In summary, in terms of why people should vote for Nana Addo,
in summary,
not Mama.
In summary, Kula, Ghanaians rejected the NDC politics in 2016 heavily, and it was rejected because Ghanaians saw through Mahama's years. Mahama had been vice president and the president, and all that time, Ghanaians could feel that he had an opportunity, even coupled with the Rawlings years, 28 years in total. And yes, still, Ghana is still where it is. It's taking this current government to dig things like toilet facilities for some communities, which if the NDC cared a bit about the people of Ghana, they would have been able to do that straight away. But no, they were interested in doing other things. They were interested in all the corrupt practices. And again, I will come back to that in a second. And therefore, you know, why should we vote on Nana Addo? I think Nana Addo has come out, he's been a blessing to Ghana. He's had his powerful vision. He's been voted the best vision in Africa and the third in the world. Now, unless Prosper is telling me that these people who are carrying out these research, he's far better than them, then this research holds true. That Nana Addo's vision for Ghana is the best vision for Ghana. When it comes to building a nation, it depends on vision and policies. Till now, the NDC has been criticizing the His Excellency's government. They have not produced one piece of policy.
Well, Prosper, I've heard you, but however, this fits in well with what the Ghana Vice President, Dr. Bawumia was saying, that when he told the chiefs of Dagbon in the northern region to pay their debt of gratitude to President Nana Addo by voting for him in 2020 for restoring peace area compared to his predecessor, John Mahama. And now, but we may say, well, he's very confident that the people of Dagbon will vote for Nana Addo and MPP as they owe Nana Addo a big debt of gratitude and appreciation. And that debt of gratitude should be paid in 2020 when he is seeking for re-election. Now, no, what is your party view or your view about the statement by Bawumia for the people of Dabon to vote for Nana Addo but not for Mahama?
Kula, I mean, this question you're asking me needs a short, quick answer. But anyway, well done to His Excellency for having time to be able to go and support the people during that particular.
Because what he's trying to say is that he has, through them, apart from fees, apart from the peace, he's also saying that there has been what kind of jobs creation,
yes,
and a number of developments which are ongoing within that.
Exactly. And if you let me, I will touch on some of those.
Okay.
A big thank you to His Excellency for having time to go and support the people in that area. And he's right. I mean, for years, this thing hasn't been settled between the people there and since the 90s, as far as I remember. So he's taken, again, His Excellency's government and his powerful skills and his powerful vision and his goodwill and his good nature of making sure that there is peace. He cannot sit in Jubilee House and think, oh God, there's still war here, there's no peace. We know the value of peace to our community, inter-community peace and international peace. We know that. If you compare countries where there are no peace and there are wars, the consequences is dire. Generations are going to suffer. If you take Syria, for example, there's pretty much nobody left. If you take all the other places where there are wars, we know the dangers of wars. We've seen Iraq, we've seen the Gulf War, we've seen Syria. And therefore, to solve this problem at this time, I think is a big plus for His Excellency and also for the people. I mean, and we were Abu Dhanis and Abu Dhanites at some point. We enjoyed the ceremony. We were happy that in the end, negotiations were able to come through for His Excellency to be able to demonstrate his leadership skills together with some of his appointees and those who work with him, to be honest. So if His Excellency Bawumia is asking the people to vote for His Excellency 4 more years, which His Excellency has shown that he rightly deserves, then it's the right call. And I think everyone within that region, apart from ensuring there's peace in there, there's also been some of the things I've mentioned that's going on in the Upper West region is also happening within that region. In fact, within that whole northern sector of Ghana. It is probably the first time that any president has paid real attention. Okay? His Excellency came in and said, I cannot do this job alone. I need to form my development authorities.
Traditionally, the people of Dagbon, normally they vote for tomorrow.
His Excellency came in and saw that I cannot work this on my own, so I'm going to create the development authorities.
Okay.
And Northern Development Authority, your role and your job is to ensure the development of the northern sector of Ghana. It's never happened before. And so, in addition to creating that particular authority, that came with financing. And part of the 1 million constituency that my Honorable Professor mentioned is going into these development authorities and in consultation with the locals and the traditional authorities deciding which projects they want.
Yes.
It's not the government that is imposing projects on the people. It's the people that are choosing what projects they want for the government to fund it. So proper needs to go back. It needs to go and find something from the Northern Development Authority. I bet you there is a list of projects that people from Upper West have submitted looking for funds. And that might reassure Prosper that it's not that bad. And I know you created a very bleak picture, but it's not that bad. You may not be aware, and I forgive you for that. So it's the right call. And come 2024, we expect the people in that region to vote massively for His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa.
Thank you.
4 more years for Nana Addo Dankwa.
Thank you, Kweku.
Thank you.
You heard everything. Do I repeat the question or you?
Oh no, you don't need to.
Thank you.
I think that I've listened well to him.
Yeah, that was it.
I will want to begin by saying that his initial comment, he sought to paint the picture as though I was abusive on the person of the president. When I said that Ghanaians had ransomed a fattened bull for a malnourished he-goat. I think that I want to draw his attention that it is not pejorative. I am not being abusive. This is figurative speech, which is accepted in English language. And I am not the type that is vulgar in language. I am not a type that abuses authority. So I want him to calm his nerves on that. And I want him to understand that it's not being or showing some insubordination towards power. It is only figurative to measure the kind of loss that we have had. Now, it is interesting. You see, my brother's submission and all the rants I have always heard from the MPP communicators in Ghana is not different. I don't fault him. He's been deceived by those who feed him with that kind of information from Ghana. Yeah. I mean, I think that is the problem because I am coming from Ghana. I'm coming from the Upper West region. He is not there. And I have been with the people. I feel the pain of the people. I experience what they are going through. And I know the realities that are there. These things that you have mentioned here, I'll come to discuss them one by each. Now, I want to begin with the issue of corruption, where he cited the revered Doromona as one that had praised His Excellency the President for fighting corruption. Perhaps my brother's attention has not been drawn to the litany of people and institutions who have called upon the president, who have decried the rising spate of corruption under His Excellency Nana Addo, the type that has never been witnessed in Africa, even under the jurisdiction of Mobutu Sese Seko. Such corruption has never been experienced as what is happening under Nana Addo in Ghana. My brother, CDD, here I have a document from CDD published by Ghana Web, which says that between 2017, January 2017, and June 2018, Ghana lost a whooping 9.6 billion Ghana cedis to corruption. Under whose auspices? Under the auspices of Nana Addo. I have here a communique that was issued by the National House of Chiefs. You are just talking of one paramount chief. I'm talking of the collectivity of chiefs in Ghana. All the chiefs in Ghana issued a communique calling on the president, decrying the monumental levels of corruption under Nana Addo's government. It's a statement of the Doromona. Does it supersede what all the chiefs in Ghana have said? Now, still, I have here the Catholic Bishops' Conference. This document is published on Ghana Web and it's published in 2018. I can give it to you to have a look and read to your viewers. The Catholic Bishop Conference have decried the rising spate of corruption under the watch of Nana Akufo-Addo. My brother, I still have here with me, you know recently what the Dutch ambassador told the government of Ghana, that why don't we concentrate on Ghana beyond corruption instead of the popular mantra of Ghana beyond AIDS? Because corruption is actually let me say the conveyor belt that is destroying every gains that previous governments have made. And Nana Addo's government is superseding the kind of corruption that has never been witnessed in Africa before. My brother, you see, he comes to talk about one village, one dam, talk about agricultural policies. Maybe he's not aware. Do you know how Akufo-Addo's government measures the number of people that are employed under the agric sector? If a farmer goes to buy a bag of what's that fertilizer, your name is registered as one that has been employed under planting for foods and jobs. Let me ask you the question. You rightly indicated when you were ranting the profile of the Upper West region that the people are farmers, they are peasant farmers, they are engaged in crop farming, animal rearing, and those things. Are you telling me that it is until they bought planting for food and jobs fertilizer that they were employed? Where are you getting those figures from? Go back and do your background check. That people have been buying fertilizer previously, they have been farming from their childhood. And then they only come to buy fertilizer under Akufo-Addo, and it means that Akufo-Addo has given them jobs? Is that what you are telling us? My brother, it is sickening. Last month, His Excellency the President visited the Upper West region. He stood on the sanctuary of the St. Andrew's Catholic Cathedral, right in front of the Bishop of Wa, and lied between his teeth that he had completed a dam in the bishop's village. My brother, when we went and checked, there was nothing there. So I want you to know that when you live here in the UK and your people send you information, do your background check. That those of us that live there, that is not what we are seeing. I am telling you that this is a pack of deception. It is not reflecting on the ground. Ghanaians are suffering. Now, to the issue of the infamous statement made by the vice president in Dagbon, it is quite unfortunate. Sometimes those of us that are Northerners, we bow our heads in shame when we hear our brother, the vice president, still making such unfortunate statements.
So are you saying that the people were unhappy when they heard it, or are you saying that what the vice president...
My brother, if you give me the opportunity to explain myself, I think you will get a better understanding of where I am driving towards. Look, everybody knows that peace building is not an event. It is a process. Peace building is not an event. It is a process. And now, for anybody who even has a scintilla of knowledge of the crisis in Dagbon, you will know that these things date back to decades. Now, they were only escalated under the watch of President Akufo-Addo as Attorney General. Wasn't it in 2002 that the crisis in Dagbon escalated? Wasn't it the same Akufo-Addo who was Attorney General? Was he not the chief lawyer of government? Did he not have a high sitting place in government to have used his expertise to resolve the crisis? What happened?
So
you see, my brother, I am coming.
Following after Akufo-Addo, then what happened to the...
Yes, I am coming. I am coming. You see, I'm surprised that my brother still says that, I mean, he follows the political mantra of the vice president and repeats same here. You remember the eminent Asante Hene made it empirically clear that, look, it has taken a number of stakeholders to put their heads together to build the peace that we were seeing. That it was not the influence of any president. Did Asante Hene not say so? His Royal Highness, the Otumfuo, said so. Are you saying that what you are saying here supersedes what the Otumfuo said? Is that what you are trying to paint? You see, it is unfortunate that when people are grappling with difficulties, when people are trying to gather their pieces, when people are trying to forget the horrendous past, that for the sake of political capital,
But
that no mean a person...
But Bawumia said he, Akufo-Addo, gave us peace after 40 years of terror.
And that is the most unfortunate statement. The vice president's statement is insulting to the conscience of the people of Dagbon. Because Akufo-Addo cannot give Dagbon peace.
And he's saying the least
Peace is not, look, my brother, peace is not, peace is not handed over like pizza on a silver platter.
He said the least the people of Dagbon can do is to give Nana Addo 4 more years
and I insist that is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. If it had come from any other person, it wouldn't have been painful than coming from the lips of the vice president, who himself is a northerner, who himself knows the repercussions of what the people went through, who himself knows the sacrifices that the people made to forget their past, swallow the bitterness, pick their pieces together, mend themselves, and forge forward. Peace is not pizza. You cannot hand over peace to people like pizza on a plate.
So, has this bring changes to the people of Dagbon?
Please, I am saying, what I mean here is that, look, the people of Dagbon, the committee of eminent chiefs, and all those who played diverse roles to ensuring that, look, the people forgot of their past, the people threw away their past, the people decided to forgive each other and march forward for peace. They are the commendable ones. Under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama under the NDC, were the ones that reconstructed the Bewa Palace. And anybody who knows the peace-building process of Dagbon knows that that is a critical stage, without which we shouldn't have been where we are. But we are not beating our chest and talking about it because we know what it means to the people. So for the vice president to be insensitive to the plight of the people and still go to scratch those old wounds, I think that, I'm sorry. I think that the vice president should think again. Now, what the vice president should have been telling Dagbon, that, look, we promised you 1 village, 1 dam. These are the dams. We promised you $1 million per constituency. This is your money. We promised you 1 factory, 1 district. These are your factories. Where are they? Where are they?
Now, this fitting.
So the statements of the vice president are elusive, they are unwarranted, they are uncalled for, they are unfortunate, and they should be condemned by anybody that desires peace.
This fitting well with the Galamsey issues in terms of the illegal mining going on in Ghana.
Can I respond before you move on to the next topic?
Yeah, I'll give you, yes.
Is that fair? Because you're moving on to a new topic.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Kula.
If you want to respond to anything, let me know.
Yeah, so that at least. I mean, again, Prosper makes a lot of what I would term hollow arguments, without a head and a tail, or head or tail. And again, I rejected the view and the idea that I'm not in Ghana and therefore I do not know what's going on in Ghana. I think that is an insult to the intelligence of everyone that lives outside the country. We don't live in America, but we know who's the president of America. We don't live in Israel, we know who's the president of Israel. So you cannot tell me that I don't live in Ghana, therefore I don't know what's going on. The fact that you live there doesn't mean you know more than I do. So yes, you might feel it because you're there. Maybe the sun is a bit hotter for you. But it doesn't mean you know more of the issues than I do. I reject that view, Kula. And I think you need to correct anyone because that's an insult to me and you because we don't live in Ghana. Okay? So you need to correct anyone who comes into the studio to make that particular assertion. Now, he talks about, he quoted 9.6 billion comparative study and as quoted for corruption, that money that's been lost through corruption in 2017-18 by some report. But there was no comparative figure, so we don't know how much money was lost the previous year or the previous 5 years. You can't quote absolute figures. It has to be a comparative figure. Otherwise, it means nothing. Okay? Now, he talked about corruption and the levels of corruption that hasn't been seen in the current administration. Let me remind him that he needs to go back and read the Transparency International's recent report, 2019. Okay? The African Barometer. And if you allow me, Kula, I will quote a few sections. Now, from that report, 33% of Ghanaians, in fact, of all the countries that took part in the survey, Ghana had the largest sample. So a lot of people responded to this particular survey than any other country that was involved in the study. So that's a good thing for Ghana because it gives us a more true and reflective picture of what people think or what people's perceptions of corruption are. So 33% think corruption increased in the previous 12 months. 33% of public service users paid a bribe in the previous 12 months. And 30% think their government is doing a bad job of tackling corruption. 60% think that the citizens can make a difference in the fight against corruption. Now, I'm really pleased with that 60%, which means that the citizens of Ghana listen to His Excellency's message when he said, I want you to be citizens and not spectators. They believe that they can contribute to the fight in corruption. If you compare these 30 percentages I'll give it to all the other African countries, some of them are 50%, 60% for where we have in a third. It goes on to say the bribery rate, if I'll leave that. Has corruption level changed in the previous 12 months? This is a comparative study looking at 2015 and 2019. So when we say previous 12 months, it's referring to 2014 and 2018. Now, 70%, this is for 2015, 70% of those who responded said corruption had increased. In 2019, 33% said corruption had increased. In 2015, 8% said corruption had decreased. In 2019, 36% said corruption had decreased. In 2015, 9% said corruption stayed the same. Now 22% says corruption has stayed the same. If you look at these figures, what it actually tells you is that people actually believe that in the last year prior to these years of the study, corruption in the NDC government went up to 76%. And then in the current administration, 33%, if I'm allowed to interpret it that way. So every 100 person you ask, 76 will say that during the NDC's last year, corruption was up. And 33% will say during the MPP's last year, which is 2018, corruption was up. Now, what is interesting is to look at corruption by institution. So we'll start with the presidency and the prime minister. They call the president and prime minister. In 2015, 40%, 47% of people said that the president was corrupt or the presidency was corrupt. In 2019, 27% of respondents said the presidency is corrupt. Almost half the figure. Kula, that is significant. So half Ghanaians, we can interpret it this way, half Ghanaians are saying that corruption is better now than when James was in power in 2015. My friend sits here, again oblivious to everything that's going on, even though he claims he's in Ghana. Hold on a second. But refusing to see what else is happening.
So where is
and
the
only
source?
interested is MDC
So that
propaganda.
our audience will know the source. Where is the source?
This is Transparency International's 2019 report, African Barometer. It's online. It's free. It's a free document. Members of Parliament in 2015, 48% of people said that the members of Parliament were corrupt. In 2019, 32% said that. Government officials, 53% in 2015, 35% in 2019. Local government officials, 43% in 2015, and 27% in 2019. Judges, magistrates, 49% 2015, 38% in 2019. These are not my words. And let me correct something that he said that when I am given information. No one has given me any information to come here tonight. I have done my own research.
Thank you.
Hold on. And religious leaders, 25% in 2015 said were corrupt. I'm responding to him. I haven't finished it. And 17% now. So if you look at all the very key areas in government at the moment, in 2015, it's absolutely clear that corruption was endemic compared to 2019. So His Excellency's fight against corruption is working, is adding, is increasing perceptions of people, reality of corruption. And I'm really happy that this came out, not long ago. Now, one more thing I'd like to respond to that before he carries on, is the government doing a good or bad job fighting corruption? In 2015, 25% said good. In 2016, in 2019, 60% said good.
And it's from the same source.
The same source. It's online, you can find it. So 25% of people responded in 2015 as JM's government fighting corruption well.
Thank you.
It's a whopping 60%.
Do you have something to
Hold
say
on a
about
second.
that?
I have a
No, I responded to his query. He just moved on to the next question. So what's happening now, Kula, is if you take Ghana as a whole, a lot of people are seeing the benefits of His Excellency's fight on corruption quite clearly by this study. So Prosper cannot sit here. Of course, that is his own reality. That is his own little small world, little small reality. And I'm tempted to use the words, and I don't want to use it. But he's having a dream and he's having a laugh when he comes up with these figures and talks about the current administration being corrupt more than His Excellency.
Thank you, Kofi.
Absolutely, Tosh.
We need to go. Okay, do you have something to say that before the next
No, I
question?
have something to say.
Okay, can you give us a few minutes? Etiye for where the Damasi Bebre say muni muhwe live program yi muni na mo. Ne ye be encourage mo say yestrema monhwe no YouTube. Say we betima hwe no YouTube at the comfort of your home. Or we betima hwe program no in YouTube at the comfort of your home. Why yestrema na so mo subscribe to YouTube, mo subscribe to Facebook, na mo like your page no my so after so program mo hwe no wo Omega Live TV. Na Omega Live TV no yenya sponsorship free Omega House. Na Omega House na sponsor ye. Na Omega House ye no ma bebre. But you say wo ye a year bi ana wo ye party, wo ye any occasion bi we can cater for you. Ba say wo here any video, photography, gift items, invitation cards, any bibia, ubetimi a contact yen, me be hwe amamo. Na ubenya ye de normal ne beto program so until as time goes on no, ubehu normal no. And na say wo ye bibia so a na wo check your program no so a ubenya ye normal no so ho a ubetimi appear careful. Yeah, that was bebre. Thank you very much. Prosper, you want to give any feedback?
Yes, I want to respond to some of the issues.
Fair, it's fair. Yeah, thank you.
My brother is engaged so much in tickling himself and laughing. You see, in the first place, I want to once again draw his attention to something. It appears he's trying so hard to pitch me against the conscience of viewers.
Because of what you said.
And I did not say that those who live outside Ghana do not know what is happening in Ghana. He was referring me to the profile of my region. And I want him to know that I have just come from the Upper West region. I live in the Upper West region. I live there with the people. And the things that you have said, the litany of issues you have said, are factually inaccurate. Look, it is not true that they have constructed, look, you can't point to one single dam that is constructed in the Upper West region as we speak now. I am telling you that it is not true that Nanado has provided water for the people of Upper West. That
we
water
want
system...
people to call in anytime from, say, 7:30 to share their views about what Prosper is saying and also what Kweku is also saying.
That water system was initiated and completed by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in an attempt to steal glory for that water system, was corrected. You can go online and check it. Was corrected that, look, my brother, you have been misled once again. What you are saying is inaccurate. Now, I want you to know that, look, farming and planting for food and jobs and whatsoever, that, look, it is a delusion. The fertilizer that you mentioned here, you heard the Minister of Agric himself come to Upper West and lamented that, look, tens of thousands of fertilizers have been smuggled outside. Look, government is providing fertilizer.
Sorry.
You see?
Sorry.
Government is providing fertilizer, and I mean, those who are supposed to give it to the farmers are carrying it outside. The farmers in the Upper West region are not benefiting from it. There are appointees of the MPP government in the Upper West today who are paying for that fertilizer. You should find out. So I am telling you that the things that you are saying about Upper West are not true. And I am coming from the region. You are not there. You will not know the region more than I do. So I am not saying that people who don't live in Ghana don't know about Ghana. So I want to correct that impression.
So,
now, let me come. Just a minute. You see, he has gone through the exercise of choose and pick. Talks about the report of Transparency International. He picks portions of the report that he feels that will serve his purpose. I will not go that tangent. I will give you the aggregate report, what the report says finally at the end of it all. Look, in the year 2018, Transparency International ranked Ghana, the ranking we scored was 46, right? In the year 2014, we scored 48. In the year 2015, we scored 47. 2016, we scored 43. 2017, we scored 40. That is the lowest in the history of the Fourth Republic. And that's under Nana Addo. In 2018, we scored 41, the second lowest. Tell me, arithmetically, who is more corrupt? Which of these figures are better? And I am not even here to debate about who is more corrupt or what not. Nana Addo Akufo-Addo won the election by telling Ghanaians that, look, he is incorruptible.
I just received a text from one of the audience, and they said they have an interest about who is the most corrupt, the NDC and the MPP, based on historical and information they have now in terms of what is happening in the country and in the past what has happened. They have an interest. Can you expand that?
No,
so then
in 2016, Nana Addo told the whole world that he's incorruptible. In fact, he was supported by the media. They painted an image of Nana Addo that he doesn't possess. In fact, what we saw of Nana Addo in 2016 was a caricature of himself. We have now seen the real Nana Addo. We have seen that, look, the man eats corruption, he baths corruption, he sleeps corruption, everything of his is corrupt. We see that he's swimming in corruption. He's the most corrupt president in the history of Ghana. And the figures prove
more recently, the government said that 21 officials of NDC's administration, and they are in the process of going through the court process.
Where are they? And does that mean that if 21 previous officials of the previous NDC government are going through charges of corruption, which court has declared them corrupt? And does that mean that if NDC people are going through trials for corruption, that makes Nana Addo not corruptible? Is that what makes Nana Addo not corruptible? We are talking about the fact that the man came to power on the mantra of not being corruptible. And what we see today is worse than we have ever seen. Even the people of Zaire did not see it under Mobutu. That's what we are talking about. And we are saying that, look, the nation is bleeding. President Akufo-Addo is only building an empire for him and his family members alone. He himself is engrossed neck deep in the corrupt acts. You remember the American renegotiated deal, where he himself used executive power, assented to the renegotiated bill that would have reached this country of $800 million. That's what I'm talking about. Look, what we see today is a government that is looting in arrears and looting in advance.
Okay,
thank you. Kwaku, do you have something to say about this before we go on to the mining?
Just a quick one. Kula, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prosper. I think my friend Prosper here has got the rankings of the International Transparency completely messed up. He doesn't understand the rankings. The lower you get, the better you are. So just so that you know, next time go and do your research properly before you come back. And also, so far he's talked about evidence of Nana being the most corrupt in comparison to Zaire. I mean, without any evidence, Kula, I get frustrated when people are making baseless allegations without evidence. We know since Nana Addo has been in power, every corruption case that's come up, he's acted on it. Right from Charlotte Osei's case, through Nyantechi's case, through the Energy Minister's case, through the PPA case, to everything that's come up in his administration, he's acted on corruption. To the tune of even appointing a special prosecutor to deal with corruption. Now, policy-wise, that is the right decision and the right move for a government that needs to curb corruption. People want to see, the thing is, you see, JM was so corrupt. If you look at the figures I gave you now from International, Transparency International, I gave you a comparative figure so you know what happened in 2015, 2014, what happened now. There was so much corruption going on that people were fed up. And this is one of the reasons why they voted JM out. Now, the expectations for Nana to deal with corruption is so high. And I really urge Ghanaians to manage that expectation a little bit, because the executive arm of government cannot influence or cannot be seen to influence the legislature. That will be catastrophic in a democracy. So the courts need to pick up their pace. They need to, in fact, move things on quite quickly. And I've advocated for special courts to deal with government appointees who were caused or found to have been corruptible. So it's not His Excellency's fault that some of these cases are not getting through as quickly as we would like to, because the legislature arm of government is an independent organization, as we saw in the UK yesterday and today, when the judges found the Prime Minister to have been unlawful in suspending Parliament. That is the level of independence we will ask our legislature and our High Court judges and our justices to be, and it's about integrity and honor. You see, when you put your hand on your chest and you recite the national pledge, I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. You cannot recite that pledge if you're not faithful and if you're not a man of integrity and you're in the legislature. We need the justices to be a lot more honorable than they are. That will clear a lot of the issues. When it comes to the president, he has done everything and acted on every corruption case that has come in his administration.
Thank you.
Evidence is through the report and the figures that I've given it. A lot of people in Ghana actually feel that he's doing a lot more to fight corruption.
Thank you. Pacha, one friend after refrain.
Yeah, Kola. Good evening. Pacha, question me friend here, shut up.
Yo, where the man in Kauai? Yes, sir.
Yeah, my greetings to all the gentlemen at the studio. Now, just a quick one. You see, Kola, the gentleman who is giving us those figures.
Me Pacha, you are talking about Prosper now, Kweku, NDC.
I'm talking about Kweku. Kweku should listen carefully. Should listen.
Me Pacha, friend of Kweku Bimpe. Why?
Kweku Bimpe. Please take a note and listen carefully.
Go on.
You see, President Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP, they are in government. They are not in opposition. They should listen carefully. Now, since they came to power, within 3 years, the government, the state coffers, it's almost 80 billion that has gone into MPP hands. What has the money been used for? Now you sit there, you are talking corruption, and you are not giving us details. Let me give you a small scenario here, Kweku. Then you understand where I'm coming from. I'll go back a bit from J.J. Rawlings to Kufuor all the way to Mama before I touch on Nana Akufo-Addo.
Yeah, well, other callers. We have other callers. So it's
I'll make it snappy.
Yeah.
I'll make it snappy for you. You see, J. Rawlings had 3 or 4 corruption issue on his table. Now, Kufuor even did better. He had about 12. Because I can't label them. 12 before Kufuor left office. Mama, apart from 4 days, Victoria Hammer, the boss branding, it was up to 8. The current MPP and Nana Akufo-Addo. Do you know the number, Kweku? Do you know it?
The number of what?
The number of corruption cases which he has cleared. Some of them, they haven't given it to police to investigate. All what he do is he clear them. So if he clear corruption, how can corruption be investigated and be prosecuted?
So what is your question? Because we have. Yes, sir.
My question. Let me ask a question. Kweku, I have a list here because I don't get time to question. You have about 80 to 100 cases pending.
Okay.
Some are alleged, some are okay. I can't label them here. Like I'll give them a list
to
reflect what is going on. Then you can come and read about those statistics you are giving. It's not right. Let's be factual to Ghanaians. Ghanaians who posted MPP in power, when you are speaking to us now, Kweku, you are in government, you are not in opposition.
Thank you very much.
Ghanaians, what you have achieved with the 80 billion in 3 years in governance. That's what Ghanaians are waiting to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have something to say.
I'm not sure when he says let's be factual. I've already given a fact, so I don't know what he means by let's be factual. The figures were not my figures. They were Transparency International's figures. So I don't know what it means. And also he says there are 80 cases of corruption. Is this time to suggest that His Excellency went around and told those 80 people to become corrupt? Is that what he's trying to say? That is because of His Excellency, or His Excellency went around and said, you, corrupt, go and steal this money. Is that what he's saying? Now, anyone has to miss the corruption argument if they do not understand human nature. Now, humans by our nature will take opportunities and take our chances if we think we're not going to be caught or found out. So, I expect more cases to come out. But the problem is, how is it going to be dealt with? His Excellency has dealt with every corruption case that's come out. Now, anyone who doesn't understand psychology will put that question out.
Thank you.
Taking chances, taking opportunity is a human behavior. Unless there are things in place that will stop you, it's going to happen. We're going to work on it and deal with it.
Thank you. Pachawan, friend, Afri.
But good evening, friend, Lady Gaga, those sides, Nana lady.
Yo, Lady Gaga, where do you watch the echo swing now?
Martini, Mr. Papa. Namia made the Papa B. Imana Papa. Now, Mr. Papa, Nipan, let's one so said Ocasan. And MPP for you. The Pacho, I didn't debate now when I
do you understand?
And what the two will be any. And some now, proper could be a book when we are now Ocan. Ocan, no evidence. That's what I say. And some are publishing in a Trana. Some propaganda and we are any 1 million to Tiamo. The Pamacho corruption here. See, I can't take corruption one. I can go Mahama and put down the say. Why I can't corrupt before? Was it after your Mahama or was who? What do you have to say? Once again, for this thing with that, no, we are corrupt. But I'm not going to think that the whole world. So you're corrupt. You don't know why you got. Now, I buy when we are saying. Now, all Castle and Abdo, oh, you're corrupt.
Lady, Pacho, question is why, yes, sir.
And somehow told our Kama. And so you know, Kahana Ghana. You also tell more to Ghana. There are not now, also not that you watch and have old first. And one day, 2 people Ghana for India. About your any of the master. Ghana for them when you have a lot of you know your papa to Abamo.
Yeah, that was it.
And Twaba.
Yeah, that was it. Thank you. Yeah, we thank you. Thank you. Say your betting me answer. Thank you, Prosper. Do you want to? You have any thing to say before we take the next?
Well, I have this to say. You see, in the
from what Lady Gaga was saying, the lady who called.
Yes, I just want to address.
Yeah, hold on, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say that in the measurement of corruption, 0 means more corrupt, and 100 means least corrupt. That is the barometer that is being used by Transparency International. So my brother can check his facts well again. So those with the least figures, it indicates more corrupt, and those with the higher figures indicates least or less corrupt. Now, there are certain indicators that you see in any government that really is ready to fight corruption. Number 1, you ensure that corruption does not even happen. Number 2, even when it happens, you put in mechanisms to detect it when it happens. Number 3, when it happens and you detect it, you put in punitive measures to ensure that people don't go around committing such. Or, I mean, those punitive measures become something like, a band or a bar to prevent others from indulging in such again. Now, if you weigh His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and His Excellency Nana Addo on these indices, you see that John Dramani Mahama has left Nana Addo far behind. Look, in the first place, under John Dramani Mahama, an appointee makes a wish that if she is able to make $1 million, she will resign for politics. She was asked to resign. She left the place. Under John Dramani Mahama, still in government, NDC appointees were prosecuted, and they are in jail today. Under John Dramani Mahama, when people were found to have used resources in a manner that it shouldn't have been used, they returned the resources. Under President Nana Addo, the president himself got himself caught up in a massive corruption act that almost reached this country of $800 million. He said he was misled. President Nana Addo has created a fertile ground for corruption by appointing his kinsmen, his blood relations, and his ex-concubines. How do you check corruption? Because these are the same people that you eat from the same bowl with.
Thank you. Let's
that nepotistic tendency is not a good ground to check corruption.
Thank you.
President Nana Addo has found it a way to clear all his appointees who were accused of corruption, even including those we saw on camera collecting money. We saw them. They are still today enjoying the largesse of the state, enjoying the taxpayers' money. And as one of the callers said, look, under President Nana Addo alone has borrowed over $80 billion. has received about 120 billion, sorry, 80 billion Ghana cedis, about 120 billion Ghana cedis in tax revenue.
Thank you. Let's
That's not 200 billion, my brother. Where is that money?
You continue. Hold on. Thank you. Pachawan friend, Afri.
Hello, I'm here somewhere in the free.
Well, yeah, sorry, see, keep hold one. Yo, I mean, but also pray in least. Italy. Oh, okay. Mr. Apia Samuel. Yo, where do you want to be a consul now?
Yeah, I'm actually a consul now. And our program. The Bible is better on it. Woman in a Qatar. So I Ukuma, Ukuma, we are Yoko, and Quay Yoko with the New Jawi, and the better. And I have been entity, no Transparency International for winning. I said you already know in Graciana. And I will listen you read that win. One check, Mahama last, and the Shaka or Mahama will move 9, and you will walk a bet in 2007, 4 bets, Mahama last in 2016, you will 4 bets. In your corruption fight, in the best corruption fighter president in honest a tablet style. Talk into one reading ye, may fair not to corruption. And meaning I'm not one more serious
about your friend, Kwaku Bimpe. Why? Kwaku,
Matimechana gave me. Some like Kufa, President Nanago, a war opposition. So what Okaya, a power so the fire. A Pafoku, a Pamu one, or Kai Scana, who you free MPP accounts. And none so much Pafoku, or you were waiting, or Kai there is come. 2. What are Kai NPP documents? A often documents a head office. I have 4 and a team what documents in this one, a good father making of Liata. Education Prudential Bank, a quadrillion loan or mobile bank during 2016.
Well, yeah, Uber must summarize it or question am I?
If you are talking about
oh, Mr. Apia Safre, why? Please.
Can I just say
something quickly? Yeah, go on. Hold on, caller. Hold on, Kwaku. Mr. Apia, yes, Safre, why? We will give you priority to finish what you were saying. Why?
I mean,
yeah, thank you.
Prosper made a claim about nepotistic tendencies the government haven't put in place, friends and family, and also was cleared everyone corruption. I mean, I'm not sure that he understands the role of the executive and the legislature in a democracy. It's not the duty of the president to clear anyone who's found to have done something wrong. So I'm not even sure. Yet again, it's the NDC strategy of trying to deceive our listeners. Now, when it comes to family and friends government, that slogan was actually engineered by one of their own. And I've got a few things here if you let me go through. So during the NDC government, right, these were the family and friends who were in the government. We didn't make a big issue because the fact that you were Ghanaian doesn't mean that you have to be denied a right to a job because your father is the president, or denied a job to become to work in the ministries because your father is director. And in all Ghanaians will not have a job because we're all related. And you know, in Ghana, a doctor would train the son of daughter to become a doctor. All those things would have been an issue. Betty Modi Drusu, the wife of Muhammad Drusu, who was a member of the Council of State, Minister of Education, Alex Mode, brother of Betty Mode, Chief Executive Officer, Ghana Petroleum Corporation. Well, talk of family and friends. Hannah Tete, Foreign Minister, Gabriela Tete, Office of the Vice President, Gisela Tete, Board Member, Ghana Airports Company, Status from one father. Tony Letha, Board Chairman, Ghana Airports Company, Nana Oye Letha, wife of Tony Letha, Minister of Gender and Social Protection. Talk of family and friends government. The late Harry Sawyer and the family, Dr. Valerie Sawyer, Deputy Chief of Staff, Dr. Angela L. Ada Sawyer, Director General, Ghana AIDS Commission, the daughters of Mr. Sawyer, Lee Okran, Board Chairman, Volta River Authority, the wife, Sati Okran, the board member, Social Security,
we have a number of scholars. Summarize it.
Hold on, let me finish this one if you don't mind. The Ahoy brothers, we knew the Ahoy brothers, the impact and the influence during these years, even throughout the Rollins years and also throughout the Mills and the JM years. The Ahoy brothers, the wives, okay? Atu Ahoy, Board Chairman, Ghana Infrastructure Fund. Kwesi Ahoy, Ghana High Commission to South Africa. Kwame Ahoy, Board Chairman, Revenue Agencies Board. Comfort Ahoy, wife of Kwame Ahoy, Board Member, Bost. Bogoyo Storage and Transportation. I've got a few more left. Kwesi Misata, late Vice President, the brother Jabez Misata, Bui Power Authority, And when I say look at the blocks, the most expensive blocks ever sold to Ghanaians. Joyce Bawa Montari, Deputy Minister of Transport, the husband Hudu Montari, FDA boss. Clara Bawa, sister of Joyce Bawa, was one of the board members of the Bank of Ghana.
Yes,
Alfred Mahama.
Yes.
Should I go on? Or should I? Well, let's listen to the
yes,
caller.
Yes, Ramo, callers. We receiving a number of calls and it's crashing.
You can't leave that and then if it was okay, then
okay.
you
Hold on, caller.
Yeah.
Do you have any summary before we?
Yes, I think that I need to respond
yes,
to
please.
the
Go
issues
on.
that
Yes.
he has.
Hold on, caller.
So I finish then because I haven't finished.
Okay.
Before you respond, I haven't
Okay.
finished.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I
So
hope I will be given enough time to
on the
answer
list,
that.
we have Alfred Mahama, elder brother of John Mahama, was the national security. Baba Kamara, a cousin of his, was national security advisor. Alhaji Lemuna Munira, foreign minister of Agric, is also a blood relative of John Mahama. Professor Mills, Dr. Kadma Mills, was senior advisor to President Mills. And Samuel Mills, managing director of Ghana Tourism Corporation. And last one, Brigadier General Ahiaglo, Director General of National Lotteries. The wife was Deputy Minister of Tourism. So what if it was okay during the NDC time? How do they turn around and accuse His Excellency of running a family and friends government?
Now he can answer you.
My question is, should they be denied a job because they're relatives of someone in power, in a position of authority?
Yes,
I think it's wrong.
You see,
thank you.
My brother Kwaku, maybe in the run up to the 2012 and 2016 election, he wasn't following the arguments in the political space. The MPP's mantra when they are in opposition is different when they are in government. When they are in government, they are the only ones that are qualified that their kinsmen can be given appointments and no one should question. And I will tell you why. Remember Professor Ade, the very best friend of His Excellency the President, who today is holding about 4 positions. Remember what he said about President Mahama? That President Mahama was appointing too many Northerners. And in his own logic, every Northerner is a blood relations to John Mahama. That's what Professor Ade said in this country, right? Remember what Yao Osafo said about people who were qualified to hold positions because they come from some regions of the country. Remember that, right? Remember that the MPP were the 4 runners of those who ran to the market with the message that John Dramani Mahama was appointing his family and friends into government. But I tell you today that when John Dramani Mahama was president, it was only Joyce Bawa, Honorable Joyce Bawa, who was a blood relation to John Dramani Mahama. And I'll give you a litany of what President Akufo-Addo is doing today. I feel that once they criticize that, they should have left a good example by running away from that. I'm surprised that you are here mentioning that list. When you and your people criticize that, you have been given the opportunity today and you are doing ×5. Look, my brother, John Nkrumah Akufo-Addo, President Akufo-Addo is the only president of the Republic of Ghana who has appointed his own blood daughter into government. It has never happened. Even Kwame Nkrumah didn't do it. Abina Buzia, who is a baby mama to the president, is in government. Ghana's ambassador to Brazil. Virginia Hesse, who also is another baby mama to the president, is in government. The wife of Gabi Ocheredako is appointed a board member to GMPC. Nana Asante Bejuatro, you all know his relationship with the president, the nephew to the president. Honorable Atachian, the nephew to the president, Minister of Works and Housing. Honorable Kwesi Amwakwata, cousin of Akufo-Addo, appointed Minister for Roads and Highways. Honorable Gloria Akufo-Addo, cousin of Akufo-Addo, appointed as Minister of Justice and Attorney General. My brother, I beg you, if you would... yes, okay, thank you. Daniel Akufo, younger brother of the Attorney General, appointed as DCE for Shai Osudoku. Honorable Mike Aaron Okwe, bosom friend of Akufo-Addo, appointed as Speaker of Parliament. Mike Okwe Jr. appointed, that's the son of the Speaker of Parliament, High Commissioner to India. Honorable Yao Osafo Maafo, bosom friend of the President, appointed as Senior Minister. Kofi Bosom Pim Osafo Maafo, son of the Senior Minister, appointed as Deputy Director of Senate. Kojo Jemfi Osafo Maafo, son of the Senior Minister, appointed as Deputy Director of NCA. Alhaji Ramadan, father of the in-law of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, ambassador to the United Arab Emirates. Abu Ramadan, brother-in-law of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, deputy director of MEDMO. Honorable Ken Oforiatta, cousin of Akufo-Addo, finance minister. Sophia A.B. Akufu, cousin of Akufo-Addo, appointed as chief justice. Eko Hagman, brother of Gabi's wife, appointed as board chairman of BOS. Nana Fridua Oforiatta, nephew of Akufo-Addo, appointed as board chairman for the National Theatre. Gina Blay, wife of MPP national chairman, a bosom friend of the president, appointed as ambassador to Germany. Gabi Ocheredako, nephew of the president, serving as the de facto. Look, my brother, the list is long. I am gasping for air. And these are the same caliber of people who who were criticizing President Mahama for appointing one of his blood relations to office. Today you sit here and you are telling us this. My brother, you see that the man is not faithful to his word. He's not committed to his word. Look, I would have been happy if my brother Kofu were appointed as the deputy minister. Now that we know ourselves, I'm sure that because of the synergies within their party, family and friends, at least I could walk into the deputy minister's office. But he's here speaking for the party. Because perhaps he's not a Akufo-Addo. He's not the Osafo Mafo. He's not Mahmoud Bawumia. He's none of them. And he should be concerned about that.
Thank you.
The time that you were blaming John Mahama for appointing Joyce Bauer into office, you think Joyce Bauer does not have qualification? Is that what you are talking about? Or you think President Mahama does not have kinsmen with good qualifications?
We will continue on this. Thank you. Pacho one friend of refrain. Where do you say for your patience? Why? We have kept you for a while. Yo. Your other callers in 2 minutes. Why? Yes, Remo, yes, I will be about. Yo, yeah, that was it.
You meet here, and I meet here, Prosper. My brother Prosper, you are most welcome, and thank you for a good job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Mr. Kula, say corruption, not a MPP for better, not or more children, must say, Senator, a ya not a ya from my see. Now, not a Akufo-Addo, all ban was see yet. Citizens and my young spectators, and never by a citizen Wagana near the yet you were chini a better and that journalist of one up to Wagana because to say net ye walk ye on my penny or Tiswa, young canasta, young money chamso. A year corruption. Why a papa, a maritime boss. And yet, Papa will see that air condition, my home, who love the ball. And we are here, different marital, and you don't know what to a GRA. And one won't what this canny year. All protect the Carlton wanted 10 years, and now you will come in and never seems to be or you are tell me up on a top, and in no others now, who about the church. Near me, and
Mary, in summary, because your other callers, in summary.
I was just going to come so.
Yeah, that was it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I wish just
take a call in then. Oh, Yalusu. Hold on, caller. Hold on. Oh. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yeah, Madam Call. Good evening. Yo, Madam Call. Me bacho Prosper, why? Prosper, yeah.
Prosper, yeah. Me no understand. Any to for ya ni e chiro mu nyina na ba ko so me kana. Wo no si obi be ka de say ne no. Eyi ye imagine is born kasa ni tantai ko kumo. Ya no mani mu atam kwa, o ya mani ni se kwa ya ka mu nya mo de be kasa. E fata e wuo e kungo na. E ya ta na mo kai. Ya kwa ni won ti be na ko kumo. Ya kwa ni won ti be na mo ko kumo. Any travel to me, the patrol of this near term and near the mobile. If I have a kill weapon, they go with you for the any to put some way near you. Yes, and memo papa, and yet, and that's one with Kakano.
Yo, yeah,
that. Tell you my guess is having man so many years and went to the other sheet. Another thing years won't go anymore. Why I never be all president. Oh, look, one president to have in 2 years. I want to garden.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Who wants to go first to the questions that came in?
Well, there were lots of them, but I mean, we talked a lot about the corruption. Now, I don't want to go through my top 10 corrupt practices during the NDC time. You know, all the Brazils, all the GDES, and you know, that confirmed style, the Ford expeditions, and all the national service scandals, and then you know, I really want to leave that because we have said a lot. I think it's not fair on the people of Ghana. They constantly keep hearing that. We need to move on the debate now, if you see what I mean.
Thank you. And
my brother, today Ghanaians have lost count the acts of corruption. Ghanaians have lost count the monumental sums of money that are sunk into corruption under Nana Akufo-Addo. My brother, PDS alone covers the entire corrupt acts that have been committed in Africa. We have not spoken about the Boss saga. We have not spoken about the American renegotiated deal. We have not spoken about fertilizer that is being carried across Burkina Faso. Look, we have not spoken about the Oslo scandal. Look, we have not spoken about the National Youth Authority. And look, I can count and count and count and count. But what is fundamental? We were in a particular government. Then your party, candidate Nana Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia comes to tell Ghanaians that, look, they are incorruptible. They are saints. Look, corruption is nowhere close to their gate. Little did we know that, look, they are walking cases of corruption. Little did we know that they epitomizes what corruption actually is. That if we have never seen the personalization of corruption, just look at Nana Akufo-Addo and look at Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and you know what corruption is. That is what they are.
Thank you. Let's listen to this caller. Pacha one a friend after free.
Yeah, for Kula, Pacha, your friendly citizen, the Presi Edmonton.
Yo, wait here, citizen. 2 minutes. Why? Your time no. Thank you. Thank you.
What time I have? And maybe can it's here. But you see, I can see Prosper, the NBC communicator. I can see how he's sweating. Pull up this somebody when it comes to the corruption front, besides the or the candidate Mahama, who is seeking to come back to power to do what Ghanaians don't know. You need it, yeah. A person will believe you. Besides, on one platform, so I mentioned the word corruption there. He cannot, because Mahama is the epitome of corruption. Omampeni, what you need to bribe. Yes, you know, Alicia. Omampeni, oye, Omampeni, Abedia, or no animal, I institute investigation against him because of a year corrupt practices. I think of my Ghana, a passport. And to be said, look, what can I be so question? The brain of Mahama, what you mean, I've been I might see a simple word because you're corrupt. Or you're very corrupt. What can I say? You be surprised for my head. Almost alternative to policies are NPP now. What is their alternative? Our message, as I'm speaking now, what is their message to Ghanaians? We want to know. They have none.
Thank you.
They don't have it. And it is on concept of what is their message.
Thank you.
What alternative do they have for Ghanaians? You should tell me now.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll talk later.
Thank you. Prosper, you heard, but let's take this question. So both of you, if you have anything to say, you can say. Pacha one friend after frame. We Pacha callers. Yes, hold on. Why? Yes, calls to buy in a lot, and I know say some calls are cutting down. And you're intentional. The thing is that a number of calls we are receiving over it is a crash it. Oh, and yes, I'm taking it easy. My kakra. Why yes, thank you very much. Pacha one friend after frame.
Hello, Kula, Malik.
Mr. Malik, yeah, say it here for whom be free, Mr. Malik.
Free London.
Yo, thank you. Now, where they watch the echo swing, I feel so. Yes, it's a call of your friend, money 2 minutes because we have a number of calls coming in. Why? Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yo, thank you.
MPP,
Mr. Kwaku Bimpe.
Oh,
Bimpe, Kwaku Bimpe.
Mr. Bimpe, yeah. And Prosper.
Yeah, Prosper.
And now, answer. No one one. Now, Mr. Kula.
Is he talking to you? Hold on. Now we can be beach caller Nana. Now we can be panelist Prosper.
Prosper, they say nobody one.
Do you understand the language?
I don't understand.
He doesn't understand, Mr. Malik, into what assume because he doesn't understand what you were saying.
God brought him very well, and I'm welcoming Prosper.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Now, what I'm saying is, I kept on correcting panelists and sometimes, excuse me to say, and yourself, about appointments of people, 2 people that they have mentioned.
And I was thinking you would have corrected Mr. Obimpe.
Bimpe.
You keep calling Alfred Mama's name as national security. And I have said it on several occasions. This gentleman has never taken any appointment. Never. You mentioned Baba Kamara, that his cousin. I said, how did he become his cousin? The gentleman has mentioned it. And I keep correcting you. And that's a fact. Now, Prosper has just counted, I've just listed all those people. Mr. Obite cannot deny even one. Now, my last point, what I want to put on record today, and then Mr. Kula,
Yeah, Mr. Malik, summarize my way.
I'm landing. And what I want, you see, people, some of us forget the geography of the country. We have now six regions up there. And they bear same name. Now, if you be Mama no for the Upper West, then your mama's district. But in the case of Akufo-Addo, they can't deny that they are not his relatives. But I'm trying to say that it's because people they refuse to learn about other people. Then they just like propaganda will be
yeah, that was it. Yo, Mr. Marek, thank you for.
No, but will you promise me that I wouldn't hear these two names again said?
Mr. Marek, we can't. Well, people have their own opinions and
views.
But
you have to correct people. You are there to educate us.
Yo, okay, thank you. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it, Mr. Marek. Thank you. Who wants to go first? Because both of you have received questions.
Let me make this clear. You see, in the fight against corruption, it is not even particularly about the relations of whosoever is appointed to government. But the relations the person has with the appointing authority is very important. In President Akufo-Addo's case, there are people that they come from the same compound, the same town.
Please, I mean, this person is calling from Ghana, and can you both excuse us to take this call, please? But you want to say, Ubetmalowa radio, no why?
Hello, good evening, my brother.
Good evening, Pachawan friend, free.
My name is Alabat Odina. I'm calling from Ghana, in the Upper West region.
Oh, you're calling from Upper West region? Okay, yeah, man. Is this the first time you are listening to our program?
Yes, please.
Okay, can you lower your radio for us? It's really very loud.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you heard what the discussion going on. What is your contribution or the question you want to ask?
Okay, thank you so much, my brother. I want to say a very good evening to Mr. Prosper and his co-panelists, including you yourself. He's doing a human job.
Thank you.
First and foremost, we were deceived by this current government that they were incorruptible. And we were also deceived by the litany of promises that we give. And till this, they cannot deliver on most of the prime ones that they give. For instance, Honorable Professor talk about the dams in Upper West. But how can you use 2 or 3 days to construct from a dam? But we are only saying that these were certain things that we maybe mentioned but not done, because what they mentioned as done are not really done. For instance, the Vice President said he was going to construct about 570 dams by the end of 2017. At the end of 2017, none of these dams were completed. None of them were even started. So at the end of the day, you see that we were being deceived. Number 2, if they were saying that they were incorruptible, what have they done by just maybe showing an example of what Jomana has done for sending a member of his own government to court based on corruption issues? Have this government been able to do anything like that? So these are the things we are talking about. Look at the financial sector. Look at the dollar rate. Look at what is happening to our economy. Is this what we call better management of the economy?
Yes.
We have really made a loss from Jomana.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's take another call. I think this is a Ghana call as well. Pacho, one friend, free.
Pacho, me did the Duku Ishmael. Me free wa in the Upper West region, Ghana.
Okay. Pacho, what did you call na?
Matepa, me pata me chia me nia out. You me nia pa no. Prosper me the free global.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me nia pa. Me the regional director of elections.
Oh, is it the first time I would hear program EBO? Every Wednesday in your program, but because of prosperity, say you have to thank Mr. Kweku Bimpe for making time available for Prosper, because we don't normally do programs on Tuesdays.
Mr. Opinta, yada you, Wapopadi Pa, the Juma Prosper every year for Ghana, my example. And the water, Madame, we have the revenue of your APP, Yaka Poeta Kankaya, Ever Ghana, I will want the journey. I did not know yes, America, the PDS of you, transport of you, and pay, boss of you. Yesterday, when the housing minister, Friend, I have done so, can overlap a Bakanda done so. I'm money and also be there a pasta. In the year for Bayern, Yapoya, do not say the 20. Your mamma, and we never be dear, but also free Amadana for. The year for Bayern, oh, dear, Yabotre, this is what you do. Everyone, every Accra. I did that very next Bandia, only 100 plus. 84% of normal, you talk. Obi a mi kura building material so mi kwa tawo 1 million for minyabi oya ndi mata ko ne wona bo je na wati o woni ye ko so Ghana de o ba eju me say ela indicate me reflect o ye ko no ela bidia indicate na ji only o je bo je oni ye ko so Ghana how o ba o ye thing
Mr. Bimpebe answer question why until that's bebre. Why? Thank you. When the Kwaku in why you will go on. Let him answer.
Again, but you spoke before me the other time.
Oh, I was
Kula, I refuse to accept the fact that many Ghanaians in Dimni Akoso. I mean,
hold on, Kola.
The argument is very hollow. Now, I'll come back to this corruption again. As humans, okay, say, Canada. Your appetite to corrupt, your appetite as citizens and as humans to take something without authority or without permission is our innate behavior. Now, the problem is corruption. People will try it as far as they think they will not be found out. And as I said, if you go into politics thinking that you're going to eliminate corruption, it's a dream, it's a target, but it will take years to get there. Even Abuja team, the perfect economy, they quote people being corrupt. Then the most important thing is, what has the president himself done about some of these
way forward, and then I will ask him,
because we know that was setting up independent inquiries for quite a lot of them, and in the case the independent inquiries and either finding Omo to have been guilty or not. The president is not involved. Then the NSO report or set up in the commission. I think it's important that Ghanaians need to understand the process. The process of dealing with corruption. Yen ko chuo bin ko twa ne nsa to say yen wo certain countries. Yen ko chuo bin ko shoot in a democracy, yes, the corruption will come. Either way, others NDC or MPP, it will happen because human nature. You befa or your boss or penny for someone out this kind of we are. So yen chewa. Ain't na buying say yen digitize the economy. We need to support the government to digitize the economy and formalize the economy. So once we formalize the economy, now your computerized systems are. A lot of these naturally human behaviors esote. Just say oh krom hey. Car who number plate you bet me afa. What fa car bi na dwane hwe. You be frɛ wa ba ofie. Fa kwana go bi na dwane na fa car. And I say even when him kwa ye camera sequence you twa wanim. You do back to database, I run it, comparative database, you be a whole. Now that is the way forward. His Excellency I propose and say, what? I need to digitize the economy. The economy not a year too loose. I need to formalize it. We'll get more revenue, corruption will go down naturally. We need to, and no part of that at the end national ID card. And I treat everyone to go for the ID card. And I know my friends on the other side initially didn't want to go for it. Eventually, they bought into the idea and went for the ID card. So I would say a big thank you to the NDC government for supporting that flagship government policy of having the ID card. It's the way forward. It's the right thing to do. I said, be reflective. Ghana, you're transferred 62 years. Say easy, so maybe about 3 years. Let me be reflective. Anchor, they would have done it over the years till now. Rollins was on for how many years? NDC has had overall 28 years. If nothing reflected that, how can you ask Akufo-Addo's 3 years say be very reflective? And even that, send out to Bako school. And say who your school fees be ma. That money is in your pocket. Maybe one. So we are NABCO. Now first no. JM time no. You go in school, you finish your graduate course, you not get a job. Unemployment Guardians Associations, and then you get a job, you get 700 Ghana cedis, is money in your pocket. Maybe what? Can you for any buying loan about setting to support small businesses who apply now? It's money that will support your business. But maybe what? Now, branding as a business here in Tonyama, and the marketing strategy. I buy this formalize the economy no boame. We digitize it. Now we also do marketing no new dear kakra I found a year journey of 1,000 miles, but it begins with a step. We say little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. Rome was not built in a day. And yet, Pusoria and Abayekasi, and I 3 years a penny. And it's 28 years. Within that time, you know, say any reflection where Botoma is unfair to even target say now no reflection at all.
Thank you.
My brother Kula, I think that he has spoken so much, and I trust your fairness to give me equal measure of time to respond. You see, I am happy that he has finally put down his MPP cap, and is trying to be a bit more nationalistic and speak from the Ghanaian perspective.
I've always been for the start.
Yes, that he knows that corruption is an innate issue that needs to be worked on from a nationalistic view. I didn't know that the MPP knew that. And I'm not sure that President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia knew that, because they were the ones that were with the drums on their head and roaming everywhere and beating and calling John Dramani Mahama corrupt. Look, I want to state it emphatically that look, every effort that the MPP and their communicators are putting in now to paint a bad picture of John Dramani Mahama will not wash. Because see, at the moment, Ghanaians have carried water, we have carried alcohol. We know which one has weight. We have tasted John Dramani Mahama, we are tasting Akufo-Addo, and we know which of them is much more committed to the development of our people. We know which of them is much more committed to the fight against corruption. Look, let me tell you something, my brother. You see, I indicated that any government that is ready to fight corruption, number one, you put in strategies to ensure that it doesn't occur. Now, taking cue from what he says, if our innate nature makes us desire corruption, even if it occurs, there are strategies to detect it when it occurs. And when it is detected, it is punished to ensure that it doesn't occur again. Now tell me, even President Akufo-Addo, who, I don't know, even the Last Supper, nobody paid that sum of money to sit by Jesus Christ in the Last Supper. And then President Akufo-Addo, people paid $20,000, $30,000. It is their own people that have come out to say it. It is not Prosper that is saying it. The good friend of President Akufo-Addo, Ken Ajapong, and their own man, A+, has told us how much people paid to sit by the president to have a cup of tea. He has come out to clear the people. We have heard of Ken Bond. Even at the time that state institutions were still investigating, the president cleared it. We have heard of Bost. The president said he was misled, and the man was cleared, later on fired. We have seen issues. Anas, the president who told us that when he becomes president, he was going to employ the Anas principle in fighting corruption. Today, Anas is not a free man. We all know what is happening. To the extent that when Ghanaians, those of you in the diaspora, you heard what happened in the United States. That a Ghanaian who went duly booked to ask the president a question was prevented from doing so. We are even gagged from asking the president to account to us because he's corrupt, he's eating corruption, he's drinking corruption, he's sleeping corruption. Everything about Nana Addo is corrupt. He himself got involved in an attempt to rid this nation of $800 million. He was caught. You know what? When a thief picks your back and is about to run and say thief, and he drops it, it doesn't mean that he has not stolen. Stealing and attempt to steal are the same. They are crimes. President Akufo-Addo gave executive approval to the renegotiation of the Ameri deal. And it was found out that, look, it was packed, it was fraudulently packed with $800 million. Have you not stolen?
I need to respond to True just before that, because he made mention of Akufo-Addo being corrupt. So far, there has been no case against the president in terms of corruption.
I just gave you one.
There has been no
$800 million. I just gave you one.
Which court is trying to present? Which person raised that case?
My brother.
Hold on
stealing and attempting to steal are the same. They are crimes punishable by law. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Now, we know John Mahama was even investigated for corruption by his own president.
Where's your evidence?
To do with the aircraft.
Where's your evidence?
We know this one.
This
one is a very
you who know? Where's your evidence? Which committee investigated him?
Hang on, I'll let you know in a minute. So John Mahama was investigated. Also, now you can tell me this one. John Mahama diverted part of money for hospitals to do his own research campaign.
That is not
Is
true.
that true? That was broadcast on Channel 4 in this country.
I said that is not true.
Where is your evidence?
That is not true. You see, I believe that my brother,
Prosper, I didn't argue with you. Prosper, I didn't argue with you when you talk. I'll let you talk. Thank you. So John Mahama diverted part of money that was meant to be hospitals to do his own research campaign. And this came out from a Channel 4 investigator that broke the news. It's not even Ghanaian, the Ghanaian that broke the news. So when we compare Nanado and JM in terms of corruption, it's the evidence against JM is overwhelming. That he's been tagged in a lot of corruption cases. His own top executives, including Kospio Gabra and some of his own top NDC gurus, have actually said that because of him, the party will lose because of the corruption tag that is against
because of
JM.
time, let's listen to this last chorus and then we can. Yeah, thank you. Pacho, one friend, now free.
Hello?
Hello, yeah. Pacho, one friend. Wait there, yes, in 1 minute because you're running out of time. Why? Yes, Trewa.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening to everybody.
Thank you.
In all the time, only thing I say, near the corruption. But NDC is what the only of them not because corruption, NDC is what they can do and it's more criticizing. And what I'm saying, so you heard the worst of NPP party is the best of NDC. NDC for and said how many years nobody work for that. And within 2.5 years to 3 years, NPP government your body and Myanmar will put it in place. Yeah, can't that side in for. I can't say that NDC for Jawa or menu at the top. So almost says current government and Bobby said the Tiago car or Mujao and son was out with the Kennedy development. So you go road side, you go hospital side, energy sector, banking sector now. Sika any university near the woman. That's a multi as a leader, minister, as a so many problem with NPP government, they say. Or by the first also yes or two or do or money. Let's first of all, what 2 or 1 tell you only now. Let's set the example. Because I did anything and 10 days to go. And to me, the time corruption wasn't. The corruption, the NDC is what you're more because we are what government for corruption.
Thank you. Pacho, one friend, I'm free.
Okula, when you maybe a quick question on my question, quick one, so. Maybe Kula Pocho, it's a okay corruption. Number person will be said, free SHS, you know. Where is the policy document on free SHS? We are interested because that policy is a very critical policy.
Yeah, just 3 minutes until almost your time to do analysis into your panel.
Document the policy. Where is it? We want to know where.
Well,
we can get copies.
Yes, go on.
Yes, you see, I want to insist that try as much as the MPP will do, they will not be able to deceive Ghanaians once more. Because now we know who actually is corrupt, and that is President Nanado. And you see, let me make it clear here. How can you be said to be fighting corruption when those that are the vanguards of that fight are now putting their tails behind and hiding? You know what happened to Manasseh Azore? That he in his own country, he had to run away.
So, in summary, because we are coming to the end of the program, so in summary,
and
before that, please don't go away. After this program, we are the next program coming up, which will be talking about Africa at large, in terms of what is going on in Africa. So please don't go away. Make sure say around now. Today program after this one. We'll be talking about culture and drumming in Africa. We will come back to it again.
I want to say that President Akufo-Addo is vindictive to the extent that those who were the voices of conscience, those who were exposing corruption, today are hiding. Talk about Ahmed Swale. May his soul rest in perfect peace. We know what happened to him. Talk about Manasseh Azore. We know what is happening to him. Talk about Anas.
2 minutes for analysis, 2 minutes,
Talk
please.
about Anas. We know what is happening. Now, beyond that, look, we want to say that the President Akufo-Addo and his government have also ensured that they have created that fertile ground for corruption to fester. And I insist that by appointing his ex-girlfriends, his blood relations, and putting people that he cannot call to query in positions of responsibility is one of the biggest problems. And I also say that, look, the president himself has no commitment. He has not shown any commitment. He's always in a haste to clear people around him because they are the same people he goes to eat in the same bowls from. And I want to say, look, my brother, Ghana is bleeding at this stage. That President Akufo-Addo, within the space of 3 years, we are not even up to the 3rd year, we're not up to the end of the 3rd year, has been able to borrow over 85 billion Ghana cedis, has had tax revenue in excess of 120 billion Ghana cedis, yet we have nothing concrete to show for that. Our hospitals are still locked up. Look, I am telling you that the entire Upper West region, we have no single ambulance running for the people of the Upper West region. Under President John Dramani Mahama, every district hospital in the Upper West had a running ambulance. Under President John Dramani Mahama, he ensured that the health of the people of Ghana was a priority. Remember the University of Ghana Health Center? The Upper West Regional Hospital, what was being built in the Ashanti region, the military hospital, and so many of them dotted across the country. You remember the community day schools? You remember the investment that we made in education? That because of that, today you can sit and say that you are implementing free SHS.
Thank you very much, Prosper.
But we are saying that, look, free SHS is good. But quality free SHS is better. And that is what John Dramani Mahama will bring.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Prosper. Kweku.
Well,
In 2 minutes.
thanks so much. Let me just correct Prosper a bit. The debt, Ghana's debt has gone up by 80 billion. Doesn't mean we have borrowed 80 billion. There are other factors that goes into that debt increases. So I'm sure Simon will take that information once I finish talking. A few things. You know, we are into the first term of a possibly longer term mandate. And Nana needs 4 more years to be able to continue his vision for the people of Ghana. Now, without Nana, there'll be no free SHS. There'll be no restoration of teacher training allowances. There'll be no restoration of nursing training allowances. There'll be no Zongo Development Fund. No planting for foods. No national ID cards. No digital address system. No paperless ports. No development authorities. No one district, one factory. No one village, one dam. No one district, one warehouse. No NAMCO. No NIEP. No strong macroeconomic fundamentals, no rehabilitation of Valco, no 2 billion infrastructure. In fact, the first batch has been agreed yesterday or today to start. Tamale interchange is finally going to kick off. And there will be no mobile interoperability. There will be no change in driving license applications. There will be no special prosecutor. And there will be no revival of Ghana's railways. And there will be no transparency in the allocation of Ghana oil blocks. We didn't say NDC was in power. And they NDC and Ghana for rejected them massively in 2016. During NDC time, the standard of living declined consistently to 2015 at $1,355 per person. Why is that? A rising under His Excellency government. The life expectancy, school enrollment, adult literacy, all went down during JM's time. It might not be Senator Kwala Bakuka, and it's not reflecting. We cannot get that understanding. That reflection is a long-term journey that we've started. We've started very, very well. Nana needs 4 more years. MPP needs 40 more years to be able to build Ghana to the level it is at Bruche that we all want to go and say, you know what? Yeah, the power of MPP 28 years. The MPP
Thank you.
Finally, they have delivered.
Thank you.
They have beaten the
Thank you,
NDC.
Kweku.
And the NDC doesn't have the interest of Ghana at heart.
Mr. Kweku Bimpe, Ase of MPP Communication Team UK, and Mr. Prosper Pio Eri. So Ase, our NDC Upper West Regional Communication Officer. Thank you, sir, for coming.
I'm so grateful. Thank you.
We have enjoyed the program today. You know, much very good, interesting points, and the people will decide. Now, actually, you better try your program. You so actually, Asafo AJ or NDC Deputy Regional Communicator for Ashanti Region, and Obewaha, and Roy Entry of NPP Communication Team UK. So, and Obewaha actually at 9:15 p.m. Now, your program is your program about Africa and we culture drumming, and it's very interesting program. If you don't go away, just go and make a cup of tea and then continue. Yadamasibebre program Omega Live TV. Your friend Kofi Kula. Thank you and good night. Sleep well. Good night.